You on the line, Duck?
Yes.
How you doing?
Just fine. Yeah, that last caller. Yeah, anybody who believes that someone, person, created the entire universe is just well, they'll believe anything. And that last guy, I have an explanation for how Jesus rose from the dead, and this will help him with understand Jesus. Jesus was a twin. And so that one twin died, and then the other one came out and said, "Hey, I'm okay," and everybody said, "Wow, how about that?"
That's my theory about Judas's two deaths.
Anyway, I wanted to. Yesterday, I was listening, and you said something. You said that atheism is a response to theism. Is that what you said?
Probably.
Yeah, but I didn't say it yesterday because.
Well, yeah, it was a rerun yesterday.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, as a matter of fact, we got an email about this today. So if you'll give me just a second, since I already wrote this as a response today, it'll come pretty quick. Somebody's being challenged by the idea that atheism is somehow a dogma or a doctrine. Atheism is, in fact, simply a response to theistic claims. It is not a worldview, a philosophy. It's not a dogma or a doctrine. There are no tenets, no rules, no rituals, no authorities,
no goals,
no
That's
certifications.
what that was my question.
Yeah.
So atheism really has no goals.
Right.
Yeah, it's it doesn't have any requirements about what you believe. It's simply a rejection of the claim of God's.
Right.
I happen to be, as I pointed out in the response, a philosophical materialist / naturalist, which is I am currently of the belief that nothing exists outside of the natural world, and I'll change that belief just as soon as somebody demonstrates that there's something beyond this.
Right.
However, that's not a requirement for atheism or of atheism, because there are many atheists, and Buddhists spring to mind, who reject the idea of a God and yet still accept some supernatural claims. And the same is true for people who may be an atheist but accept ghosts or reincarnations or anything like that. So all of these little things that people think are part of atheism aren't. They're part of other things which are consistent with but not dependent upon atheism.
Right. Okay, and so the State Board of Education, is this the same board that okayed the Bible study class, the elective Bible study class? Is that the same ones that rejected the teaching religion as science? Is that the same?
No.
It's not the same board?
They
earlier,
haven't done
a couple of months ago, they rejected...
They rejected the English standards, and McElroy pushed through his own from a conservative think tank in a day or so with no review.
Well, no, I mean, somebody was... I can't remember who it was. I've called and talked to you about this. They wanted to teach...
Are you talking about Louisiana?
No, in Texas, they wanted to teach it as a college, teach their version of evolution.
That was a group that was trying to seek accreditation in Texas to offer degrees in
creationism.
In creationism, yeah, that's a college level thing.
Right.
That was dumped. They did not get their approval.
Right.
Thankfully.
But was that the same board that
no.
that didn't
it's
dumped
completely
that
different.
but approved this elective Bible study?
No, it's completely different. What we're talking about with this Bible study course is the State Board of Education that controls public education, K through 12 stuff in the state of Texas. This other thing was a college level program which went to a different review board responsible for accreditation in Texas.
Okay, all right. Well, I was just wondering if they had rejected it before, how they were able to sneak it by.
Yeah, no.
But anyway, I think that once school starts, I think that hopefully the young people going to school are paying more attention than those 10 people on the State Board of Education.
Yeah.
And people won't even go to that class. But you're right. I think that does kind of, all they really want to do is open the door for making it a permanent required class in school.
And,
I think that's what their goal is.
Yeah, I think,
and that's what I was asking about. What are our goals as atheists? Because the churches, they sure have goals, and they're not happy with just working on Sunday anymore. Now they're trying to get into the public schools.
Yeah.
And
well, not just now. They've been
another
trying
thing,
to get back into public schools
the
forever.
guy that was there with you yesterday said something. Asked why do religions always seek governmental validation? Is what he said, and I say it's so that they can impose their will by law.
Yeah, it's because that's where the power is.
Yeah, that's all they want to do. They want to impose their will through law.
Yeah, that should be telling for anybody that where the true power is, much in the same way that the police and the police enforcement of our laws is what keeps the order. The government actually has the power, which is why these religions try to adopt the government. If religion had any real power behind it, it wouldn't need the government at all.
Oh yeah, right, exactly. And I remember whenever back in the 70s they had the blue laws, and which is where the church had decided somehow they came up with a list of items that they did not want anyone to buy on Sunday.
Yeah, there are still some.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean that's just ridiculous. That you could buy a nail, but you couldn't buy a hammer.
Right.
I mean that's absurd. But
And
anyway,
if I
they
had
don't
a
have
hammer,
that much
I'd hammer
anymore.
in the morning.
I don't guess. I don't see it except I think you can't buy. Some people have told me you can't buy an automobile on Sunday.
Yeah, we talked about this a month or so ago. There are some
You can't buy
limitations.
alcohol, like in the morning.
Yeah, and you can't buy alcohol and other things like that. So some of it is still around. We're gradually, one of these days, I'd like to see us get to a point where we have. I'm not out for the necessarily the elimination of religion. I'm out for the elimination of religion's stranglehold on the freedoms of people who don't practice those religions.
Exactly.
I'd like to be able to do what I want. It's insane that I could buy a bottle of tequila on Saturday, which is somebody's Sabbath, by the way, but not on Sunday.
Right.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
It's okay. So we've got laws where the bars have to stop serving at around 2 o'clock. Well, all that does is put the drunks on the street at the exact same time. Stay open 24 hours, spread them out. Maybe you can corral them and catch them a lot easier rather than putting a burden on the cops all at once.
Right.
Not only that,
it's not God we have to fear. It's religion is who we have to fear.
Yeah. Not only that, but you might be able to stop some of the last minute, I'm going to down 3 shots binge drinking that happens when the clock's running out. It's just nuts. And these are rules, they seem like good things to impose at different times, and we realize that possibly people are going to make arguments about, oh, look at how many lives are saved and everything else. They did all this in countless times on all sorts of rules. It didn't make any sense. Show some damn data.
Well, that's not. The churches are not about making sense. They're about making the masses conform.
I understand.
That's all they're about.
That's what we need to stop.
And also the previous caller, he wanted the proof that Jesus existed. Well, is there proof that there's a Santa Claus? It's the same comparison.
I got presents one year when I was a kid. That's more than Jesus ever did.
Yeah, so that means there's a Santa Claus, huh?
Yeah, at least somebody acting in his behalf.
And actually, there might be a historic Santa somewhere back.
Right. Yeah, and like you said, also there was probably a man who was preaching back then, and I'm sure there were many of them. And but how in the world, it became so believable? Well, like I said, the twin came back, and everybody said, "Wow, it's true." And I guess that's been with us ever since.
Yeah, and there's a number of other hypotheses too. I'm going to let you go. Thanks a lot for the call.
Sure.
I appreciate it. We got about 10 minutes left. As a reminder, we're going to Threadgill's after the show's over. It's on Riverside Drive. I'm sure they'll put the address up in a second. There it is. Look. Any atheist or atheist-friendly person is welcome to come down to this or any of our other events. I also wanted to get another reminder out because I often forget to do this about the August 15th Putt-Putt Night at Peter Pan. It's BYOB. There's more information on the website. And also the Bat Cruise is coming up. We have booked the big boat, which means we need a big turnout. So all of you who are within driving distance of Austin, who've been wanting to come down and meet some of the people who work on the show behind the scenes, do a lot of the work that the ACA does, come down and support what we're doing, please do so. We have a lot of fun out here. We take the boat out for a few hours, grab a bite to eat, have a little to drink. Sometimes we might sing or play guitar or something, but generally it's to watch the bats and have a good evening. So it's worth the trip. We've done it 2 years now, and this will be the third, and I hope we continue to do it, and I hope the turnout continues to increase. So I wanted to make sure we put that out. When I talked about the alternate theories about the resurrection, the twin theory, that's assuming that you believe the stories that somebody actually saw him after the resurrection. In fact, what most Christians point to, believe it or not, as evidence of the resurrection is an empty tomb. See, look, the body's not there anymore. He must have risen and come back to life.
It's like keeping garlic in your kitchen and saying, see, there's no vampires. It works.
In early on, in early challenges to Christianity's claims, there were people who proposed, somebody went in and stole the body. And I mean, this is first century, around the time that Paul is writing, that you have people saying, you really think that because there's no body left in the grave that this means he came back to life? I mean, I'm sorry that I'm not a fan of your zombie Jesus cult, but somebody could have stolen the body, or you guys could have made this up, or you could be in the wrong tomb, or people might be misremembering, or any number of things. If the best evidence that you have is the fact that the body's no longer there, then clearly I'm a billionaire, because my wallet's empty.